I've said this a few times. I feel like Mr. King has really got it out for me. I feel like he's trying to make me go insane. And again, he's been pretty quiet lately. So yeah, let's talk about a film called Wet and Wild Summer. Here in the United States, but in the Australia, it's known as exchange lifeguards. So what was the best about? Well, a property developer wants to take over an Australian beach for a high-rise resort. He sends his son to Australia to check out the situation, posing as an exchange lifeguard. He falls in love with a woman who owns land and his father needs for the development and finds himself sympathizing with the locals. And one thing that ends up happening throughout, especially the beginning of the film, like when we were first introduced to the McCains, in that, like, say, at the beginning of it, we discover, like, say, hey, Mike might be, like, the head of the company. His wife might be poisoning him, like, say,
Drinky! Feeling any younger?
All the time.
me and my honey bunny might be getting that company from you. And about this film is in that, like, once we, like, say, at the same time, I say, like, once the film has a lot of cliches that, like, say, I go, say, that I used to go, say, oh, I didn't really notice that, but then suddenly over the many, many years, I realized, say, oh, this entire cliche. Like, the liar real one, like, say, in that Bobby, he's having to go to Australia so that he can, like, pretend to be a, lifeguard, so then that way he can become, get the locals to like him, so then afterwards they can go, like, say, aha!
A little Aussie good luck charm.
Oh, thanks.
Oh, and me and the little lady want you to have this for protection. Here. Here's another one.
Thanks.
Now we can take over the resort, and, like, or take over the resort, or have the local beaches to ourselves. And at first, like, say, the locals are just like, say, like, are you sure this guy's a lifeguard? And all that, this kind of looks, they are just like, say, uh-oh, wackiness. And it's just like, say, for me, it was just like, say, it's, because, here's the thing, it's weird for me, in that, like, I used to watch a lot of, like, say, um, I used to watch a lot of, like, say, fan servicey anime, and, for this one, it's just like, say, like, whenever, like, they do have the moments of, like, say, like, the moments that seem like the, like, say, the sexiness, and I'm just like, say, eh. Because, like, there's a moments, like, say, when they are, like, like, when they're, like, say, okay, we're gonna have parties, or, uh-oh, we're going to, like, say, like, we're gonna get used to, have Bobby get used to, like, doing the games, because, like, say, the lifeguard he becomes a part of is, like, they're doing, like, say, like, lifeguard games, so then they can, like, say, hey, like, we can actually have the community respect us, and such. And there's moments, like, say, where, um, we meet all the locals and all that, and, like, all these wide range of characters.
Better members.
How are you involved?
I own the club.
You do?
My parents bought it when they retired. It was just a beach house. They've gone now, and I lease it to the surf club.
like say, well, he's trying to make good with all the communities, all the club members, and well, Dad, he ends up going to say, okay, I need to get out of LA because his wife's in Australia. So then the big the boss under him goes and say, huh, well, this is the perfect situation for this, like the ring of the hands.
Donna,
Oh, Richard.
I think we've done it.
Richard, I think this calls for a celebration.
Well, second that. Oh, you know, I've got this feeling this is going to be a highly productive.
And both he and his lady decide to say, hey, we are going to take the company out from under you. And yeah, that's a thing that happens. That's the thing that happens. And like you have like characters gonna say, hey, they become best friends with Bobby until we have the bit of the liar reveal when like say one local who does not like the McCains goes like say did you know this shit that like like he's actually
Well,
My name's Bobby McCain.
What?
I tried to tell you, I really did. I tried to tell you a couple of times. I found this in his stuff. Have a listen.
So far, I find Australians to be nothing but a bunch of cheap, incompetent hustlers.
a McCain. And then they basically just like say, hey, get on out of here. You can't stay with us anymore. And all that, and one thing they so basically when at that point like say the dad comes down to Australia and all that, like you have the moments where like say, hey, son, like we're gonna try and make things better. Like I didn't like uh this high rise nonsense thing. I didn't like it either. Like it's crazy. Like like what do you think? We're gonna get rid of this beautiful landscape and all that? Insert opinions about developers in a from a. I mean, I live in the area where there's constantly like like say hey development for like say new housing. So when basically he like talk like say um Mike talks to like say the community and just like say, hey, we're gonna make sure like we can give you the land back and all that.
Sources. Look. We can't force you. If you don't want it, we won't do it. But give it a chance. Look for yourself. You decide.
I do think one moment where like say it's kind of gross, but at the same time it's hilarious. We try to get one of the guys like say talk to say, hey, now where's the dudes to all the like all the lands and all that.
Oh. Ah. 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 Ah.
Then like say all the like say the second in command of the company goes like say, haha, we're going to Australia, we're gonna make this happen, and we're gonna kick like say both of the McCains out and all that. We're gonna take all the things. We're gonna make all the high rises. Hee 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 hee. And they one thing that's happened. They say okay, they're gonna try like make a continue doing the games because if they continue the games, they win and they get to keep their sense of community. And then like yeah, like say in this film, like you have the moments like say like when they're doing the games and all that at the end of the film. Like there's even the moments like say when they're like doing the row your boats. And then like say one girl, like say I think it's Charlene, I believe, and she basically she's entire wearing like a leather jacket at the time, and it's like say there's a moment where she's just like say where she goes like say.
Keep it straight! Flip, you idiot!
And I'm just like saying nope, nope. And then like say, and then wouldn't you know it, they win the games. They win the games. And the previous, and you know the second command of the company, he don't like that very much. No, he don't. So basically, he goes like he has a major tantrum, and so does the girl, and then they end up running away, and then like say hugs from Mike with his wife, and Bobby with his with the love interest, and then cut fade to black as like say you transition to like say
I know you wanna be loved, but no word passes from your lips.
kissing and hugging, and then like say transitions, and it's just like say, thank goodness this was over. I mean, yes, it has some moments where I felt like, okay, this was funny. At the same time, it's just like say, this is John exhausted me. It exhausted me. Like I keep on feeling like say like I'm being recommended, I'm being said, hey, watch this thing and all that, and it's just like I'm tired. Oh well. See ya.